this is my green TJ. Today I'm going to be installing a part sponsored by Car Sponsors and Morse 4x4 Center. I'm going to be installing the Currie Enterprises Antirock off-road sway bar. I'm going to go through the process of showing you what I use for tools. I'm going to show you the parts that will come in the box, and we're going to go through the whole process, and it should only take you about 3 hours. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Alright, so in your box, you're going to get your sway bar rod. You're going to get your sway bar arms. As you can see, they say Antirock off-road sway bar on them. You're going to get a bag of M-links. And there's some bolts in here as well that will go on the end of the thread side. Here's your cross member plugs that the sway bar rod's going to go through. Here's your M-link bars that the M-links are going to screw onto. And I believe some of them are reverse thread and some of them are regular thread. So keep that in mind. You're going to get a couple RockJock stickers, best part. And you're going to get a bag with two 14mm bolts that are going to go on the into the end of the sway bar rod here. You get two washers, you get two nuts, and then you've also got two screws that have a Allen end. Now we're going to go to the tools side. So for tools, you're going to need a mallet to pound in the cross member plugs. You're going to need an Allen wrench for those screws that I mentioned earlier. You're going to want a 19, an 18, a 14, and a 3/4 inch ratcheting and wrenches. And you're going to also need a ratchet, and you're going to want sockets, a 3/4, a 19, an 18, and a 14, and also a 16. You may not use all of those, but it's good to have them just in case. You're going to need a grease gun. You can use impacts if you want, but you don't need to. And that's all we should need for our project. Now, your situation may be different. First thing I'm going to do, since I have the rough country winch bumper, there are two bolts on each side bolted into the frame rails. And then there's also one bolt on each sway bar bracket. So you need to remove those. The two big bolts, even on your Jeep, no matter what you have for a bumper, they should be a 19mm. And then the ones up front on the sway bar bracket are going to be 17s. Should be. as you can see, we have our front bumper off. And like I said before, this is your process is all going to depend on what bumper you have. We have one bolt left on in this sway bar bracket on the driver's side. As you can see, I removed these two over here. Bracket just comes right off. Same as these, I had Moog sway bar bushings on here. Now here is the cross member hole where your plugs are going to go. And then plugs is what the sway bar is going to go through. You want to get yourself some grease. You want to grease that hole real nice. Here's your cross member plug. As you can see, it is shaped almost like a half moon, about like 3/4 of a moon. And it's shaped just like your cross member hole. So, grab your mallet. You may need a bigger one than what I got. The more leverage you got, the better. I'm going to show you what I do to get this plug into the cross member hole. So, I ended up having to trim down the edges of the plug. Otherwise, it wouldn't fit in there. It was just slightly too big. Now, you want to take your plug, line up the design with the hole. Get yourself a piece of wood like so. Make sure it's lined up as good as you can. And there she is. She's in there. Now, we're going to lube up the inside of the hole here so we can stick the rod in. Just like so. Make sure it's nice and lubed up on both sides. Here is our sway bar rod, as I showed you earlier. Now you'll see that this has spline grooves, kind of like an axle shaft. And then you've got this hole on the end that's threaded. That's where them bolts will go that I showed you earlier. Now, if all goes well, you should be able to stick this right in here. It might give you a little bit of trouble though. You may need to use this, a 2x4 and the rubber mallet to get her in there.